I'm just kind of nervous, you know? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tally and I post books and stuff. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the books that I purchased online. I did do an online book shopping spree and I purchased from a thrift store on eBay. I enjoy going book thrift shopping. I have put up many videos of me going thrift shopping and looking for books and stuff. I'm just going to share the books with you guys, and at the end of this video I'm going to share with you guys an announcement, a very exciting announcement hopefully. Let's get started. I did purchase these books on eBay. I will put the link down below in the description box if you guys are looking for affordable books and you guys are on a budget. They have really cheap books and I really love their prices, and usually all the books come in good quality and the shipping is very fast. Okay, the first one, it is An Unquiet Mind by Redfield Jamison. This is a memoir and it is psychology, and it touches topics like depression, and the author, she takes us through her childhood, the illness that she went through as a teenage girl, and her determined journey through available treatment. And it's just a straightforward memoir and sometimes poetic, which I've heard. Some of the trigger warnings from this book are suicide, depression, and violence. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next one is Never Let Me Go. Those children, Kathy, Ruth, and Tommy, who were students at Hailsham, which is a boarding school secluded in the English countryside. It was a place of mercurial cliques and mysterious rules, and teachers were constantly reminding their charges of how special they were. Now, years later, Kathy is a young woman. Ruth and Tommy have re-entered her life, and for the first time, she is beginning to look back at their shared past and understand just what it is that makes them so special, and how that gift will shape the rest of their time together. Next up, we have The Year of Magical Thinking. I'm so excited to read this one. I'm actually really excited to read all the books that I purchased. Some of my friends on Goodreads have actually read this one already, and I have heard very good things about this. It does have a 3.89 on Goodreads, which is basically not that great. I do want to read more memoirs this year. That's basically what I picked up from the bookstore. There was a lot of memoirs and they were very cheap. So that's also another reason why I picked it up. The author explores an intensely personal yet universal experience, a portrait of a marriage and a life in good times and bad that will speak to anyone who has ever loved a husband or wife or child. Several days before Christmas 2003, John Gregory Dunn and Joan Didion saw their only daughter, Quintana, fall ill with what seemed at first flu, then pneumonia, then complete septic shock. He was put into a coma and placed on life support. Days later, the night before New Year's Eve, the Dunes were just sitting down to dinner after visiting the hospital when John suffered a massive and fatal coronary. In a second, this close symbiotic partnership of 40 years was over. Whew! So just even reading the synopsis, that just breaks my heart. I knew that this book was going to be depressing, and I know it's gonna break me. But you guys know that I'm a sucker for depressing books. I just like crying. The author's daughter, she was in a coma, and then after that her husband suffered a massive fatal coronary, and the 40 years that they spent together was over. Months later, her daughter got better. Later, she collapsed and she underwent different surgeries. A memoir about children, illness, grief. So I'm very excited to read this one. I'm so happy that I picked it up. Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to name this video Depressing and Horrorizing Novels. This one, it is In Cold Blood, and one of my Instagram friends, they actually told me that this book is very terrifying and horrorizing. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. It is true crime. It follows 4 members of the Clutter family who were savagely murdered by blasts from a shotgun held a few inches from their faces. One of the trigger warnings might be violence and murder. There was no apparent motive for the crime, and there were almost no clues. As Truman reconstructs the murder and the investigation that led to the capture, trial, and execution of the killers. He generates both mesmerizing suspense and astonishing empathy. At the center of his study are the immoral young killers Perry Smith and Dick Hickok. In Cold Blood is a seminal work of modern prose, a remarkable synthesis of journalistic skill, and a powerful narrative. You guys know that I love my thrillers. I love my horror stories and true crime. I finished watching Night Stalker the other day at 3 a.m. and that documentary was just amazing. And it was so terrorizing because they kept on zooming into that murder's face and he looks so evil. I'm glad that he was in the topic of the documentary. I really liked how they paid more attention to the families and the victims. Graphics were amazing and terrorizing, and it's a documentary that I truly recommend you guys watching if you haven't, on Netflix. It is about serial killer Richard Ramirez, and this was back in the years 1984 and through 1985, and it happened in California. It was really crazy to see how he expanded his murders, and he left kind of like clues and stuff. Next book is The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. The second book that I got about marriage. I'm not even married, and I'm not even gonna get married. By the way, I totally forgot. Happy United States Inauguration Day. We have a new president of the United States. It's time to party. This is Italian literature. It is fiction. It's a novel about marriage, solitude, and motherhood. It is a gripping story of a mother's emptiness after being abandoned by her husband with 2 young children to care for. When she finds herself literally trapped within the 4 walls of their high-rise apartment, she is forced to confront her ghosts, the potential loss of her own identity, and the possibility that life may never return to normal. And it is The Road by, by Cormac McCarthy. This is a fiction, science fiction, and a dystopia. It follows a father and his son who walk alone through burned America. Nothing moves in the ravaged landscape save the ash on the wind. It is cold enough to crack stones, and when the snow falls, it is gray. The sky is dark. Their destination is the coast. Although they don't know what, if anything, awaits them there, they have nothing. Just a pistol to defend themselves against the lawless bands that stalk the road. This is the same author who wrote No Country for Old Men and All the Pretty Horses, and he has several other novels out there, so I'm hoping to like this one. I also got The Alchemist. First of all, let's take a moment to appreciate the cover of this book. It's just so beautiful, and look at the back. I love the moon, I love the stars, so this is just a gorgeous cover. And I got so lucky that I found it for $6 on the website, and it is in perfect condition, so I'm very happy about that. This is an enchanting novel, and I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it. It's very popular. My sister-in-law, she actually told me that she read it in high school, and she recommended it to me. I was already gonna read it, not in the beginning of the year, but my sister-in-law, she told me about it, and I was just interested to read it. It follows a shepherd boy named Santiago, travels from his homeland to Spain in search of a treasure buried near the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who calls himself a king, and an alchemist. All of them point Santiago in the direction of his quest. No one knows what the treasure is, and no one knows if Santiago is going to be able to approach and find the treasure. The story of Santiago is an eternal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our hearts. So the next book that I got was A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. I actually just started reading this book yesterday, and just talks about women's role in society. So this essay, it employs a fictional narrator and narrative to explore women both as readers and characters in fiction. This essay is seen as a feminist text and is noted in its argument for both a literal and figural space for women writers within a literary tradition dominated by patriarchy. So excited. Picked up True Colors by Kristin Hanna. I just finished a book last month, Winter Garden by Kristin Hanna, and she just writes so powerfully. Stories are just so well written and they're just amazing. So she has become one of my favorites, one of my favorite authors. and I just decided to pick this one up because I've heard very good things about it. This is a tale of three sisters who are always banded together against the distant chill of their father. Winona, who is the oldest, never felt at home on the seaside horse ranch that has been in her family for 3 generations. Aurora, the middle sister, is the family peacemaker, tries to keep them all happy, even as she hides her own secret pain. The third one, Vivi Anne, is the undisputed star of the family, a stunningly beautiful dreamer with a heart as big as the Pacific Ocean in front of her house. She is adored by all who know her. A terrible, shocking crime will shatter their family and tear their beloved town apart. Colors is an unforgettable novel that explores the dark side of the criminal justice system, the price of prejudice, the long road to redemption, and what it means to be a family. So the next one is The Remains of the Day. This is the same author. This is the same author of Let Me Go. So this takes place in the summer of 1956, following Stevens, who is a butler at Darlington Hall. He decides to take a motoring trip through the West Country. The 6-day excursion becomes a journey into the past of Stevens and England, and realize love between a butler and his housekeeper. So this is a 4.13 on Goodreads. I'm excited. Yay. And last but not least, I received a book by Entangled Publishing. So thank you so much for sending me this book. It is called The Afterlife of the Party by author Marlene Perez. I'm so excited because it's about vampires and I need a vampire story in my life. Hopefully this is a great story. From the looks of it, it looks pretty good. Let's see. They also gave me a bookmark. Let's read the synopsis really quick. It will be out on February 2nd of this year. I'm so excited. So this is a vampire romance novel. So it is about a girl who goes to this party and this party changes her life forever. It's hard enough living in one of your best friend's shadows and secretly in love with your other best friend. And now she's leaving it a vampire. Now her best friend Skylar is stuck on the road trip from hell on tour as a groupie with a literal band of vamps. Ooh, bands and vampires? I am in. This sounds very interesting. So vampires and bands, count me in. I'm just intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Okay, those are all the books. Okay, so it's now time for the announcement. Yay! If you do follow me on Instagram, I have created a book club with my friend Cynthia. I'm excited because there are already 19 members. And I wanted to announce that on here because you are able to join us. So if you're interested, we will be reading a book bi-monthly and we will be starting on March, just so you guys can have time to grab the books that we're going to be reading. And if you go on the website, you can see all the information. I will be putting up polls and our Zoom meetings, which we will be meeting 2 times a month and just discussing the book that we are going to be reading. We are going to focus on BIPOC authors and I'm super duper excited. I hope you guys can join us. You can join anytime, and if you want to skip 1 month, that's totally fine. You can skip it and then join us the next month when we have another reading. So I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a wonderful weekend and take care. Bye. Woo! Club, in this book club you will what the fuck?